Hey guys, welcome to episode 23 of the Where's My Blanket podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Gunter Kwok,
And I'm David.
and I hope you guys are doing well. Once again, wherever and whenever you're listening to this, thanks for tuning in. Today we're in a bit of a ranking phase recently where all our episodes, as you guys have noticed, have been ranking things. I think just because it's fun, but just fun to talk about. Today's no exception, so we're going to be doing musical instruments. Just because that's something that I guess we both have in common. David's obviously a musician, and I used to be in a band, but I think we all did.
You mean high school band, right?
Yeah, and that term is weird because when I like when you're in school, you're in a band, and then after, like when you're older, you're in a symphony or a quartet. Like I've never used the word band other than like in school or like marching bands or like, but those are also very like education focused, right? I don't think I've ever used the word.
No, I think it depends on the instruments that's involved. So I mean, you can still be in a band when you grow up, but for me, it's just because like the ensemble that we're in. Yeah, the instrumentations has to be called orchestra. Or,
Yes.
Yeah, there's also like wind ensemble.
Yeah. Well, when I think of band, I think of like
Coldplay.
boy bands or like or just I guess I mean like I guess you can call them bands since Coldplay is like this. I don't know, just for me the word band has a very like younger association to it, like back when I was back in the old days. But that's just me anyways.
Yeah, but we're not just ranking best to worst or something like that today. We are kind of deciding which instrument is the sexiest instrument.
Wow, the most attractive. Now, there's a lot of different ways that we can go about this. Are we going about it in the way where it's like the instrument itself is sexy, or is it like the person playing it?
That's my question too, right? Like, is it the instrument and the sound that we're deciding on, or is it people that play them? Because I think there's a little bit difference in that.
I mean, they both have their merit, right? Obviously, like with, like, I don't know, like with instruments and sounds themselves, I feel like that in itself can be sexy. However, I think more people are
attracted to the player.
Like attracted to like, oh man, that guy plays like, you know, a mean flute or whatever, right? Yeah, and then he also doesn't use it as a dildo. Anyways, it's a flute.
Cold.
It's a long stick. How could I not make that joke?
It's a little cold.
Yeah. But so I mean, we could do it in both ways. But I just feel like for like most people when they see someone play an instrument, the instrument is kind of like just like a catalyst or like it helps, but the person that's playing it and like their persona and how they do it, that's what makes it sexy. I don't know, that's just me though.
Sure. I think maybe musical people, they tend to be drawn to the sound and the instruments more.
Why don't you do sound and I do per people then? Just so that they have both perspectives.
Sure, yeah.
This is easier that way.
I mean, from time to time I might throw in my two cents too, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of instruments and we're going to group a lot of them together. And so I'll just run down the list of the things that we're going to talk about. However, we may talk about like other instruments here and there, but yeah. Anyways, so here's our list. Oh, here's Brown, by the way. He's back and not Snoopy. Why is my hair so weird? Anyways.
It's fine.
The list is piano, violin, cello, flute, saxophone, trumpet, French horn, guitar, and drums.
Percussion,
but like no one's gonna be like cymbals. Man, that guy's so hot when he smashed those two cymbals. You know what I mean? Like that's
no, but percussionists, they have to know how to play multiple instruments.
Yes, I know that. Yeah. And like xylophone, I do it. But like,
I love xylophone.
In terms of sexiness,
drumming is
like when you see a boy, man or woman, I guess, on the drums in a band. That's like right. Like drums are what most people in a percussion would deem sexy, in my opinion, anyways. So,
if this
have you guys ever seen a hot xylophonist?
Yes, xylophonist. Yes, yeah.
You guys.
But if this offend any of you triangle list out there, we apologize.
That was so hard work, man. Just to count.
There's so many
20 bars.
Yeah, triangle jokes out there. It's just like viola.
Right. So the first one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Boba, and I'm choking on it again. But first one's piano. And do you want to go first, David?
Sure. I mean, I might be a little biased, right? But I'll try my best not to be. I mean, piano is one of the most common one. A lot of people play it, especially if you're Asian. You're forced to do it. I mean, I happen to really love it as a kid. So that's why I stuck it out. But I think, yeah, piano, sexy wouldn't be the first word I use to describe it. But I think some music with piano is
like the sound, you mean, right?
Yeah, it gets people in the mood, I guess. But most of the time, I think of piano as calming and elegant. It could be pretty like exciting and flourishing too. But sexy isn't exactly the word I would use it, unless you're talking about jazz piano, which I'm not very familiar with. Yeah, so if it's just like classical or like pop music piano, probably not the sexiest instrument.
Interesting.
In terms of sound. How it looks, I think grand piano looks kind of sexy because it's large.
Wow.
It has like a nice curve.
And that's why he's dating me.
Because you're a piano?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is he slow all the time or what?
Maybe that means I don't think you are whatever you think you are.
Yeah, sure.
Anyways.
Is that it? Is that your piano bit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can agree with that. I mean, like, so sound itself, I wouldn't say is like the sexiest instrument. However, I will say for most pianists, I'm not gonna go there, even though it's such an obvious joke. But for most pianists, you can really see talent when it's there, and like when someone is very talented on the piano, that's like, for me, that's like, holy shit, like you're sexy, and. I mean, like, I don't witness a lot of pianists because I don't go to a lot of their concerts, right? Like, I mean, I'm not a very...
I miss doing concerts.
Right?
Yeah.
But, like, whenever... Yeah, when you used to take me to concerts, I'm not going to name names or anything because I don't want any of you or your friends to get butthurt because I like some people over other people. I'm not going to... Right? But, like, you know, like, some of your friends, or at least one of them, I think is, like, so talented. Like, when... that person was playing. I'm not gonna say names.
You've told me.
I was like, holy fuck, that person's good. But like, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of good pianists out there, but
some people really shine.
Some people really shine, yeah. And I think that for me makes it sexy as a person, not specifically the sound.
I think because it's such a common instrument, it's easier to tell or like to put off that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
When someone is very brilliant at the piano compared to like, you know, saxophone or trumpet, a common,
which you might not be as heard of as much, right? That's why.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like a general public, they can tell that this person can't play or cannot, you know. And other than that, they don't. Even for me, like as a musician, right? Sometimes I listen to a wind instrument, and I'm like, is that pretty good or is that very good? You know? Yeah. I can tell when they're like not great, but I can't really distinguish that excellence and, you know, pretty good level.
Yeah.
Sadly, but yeah.
Nope, that's piano. I'd say.
Are we giving it like a sexy score?
No, we can just do like a top 2 or 3 near the end. Like I don't want to do a score. That's just 2.
Sure.
Too many things to keep track of. But just overall, I'd say it depends on the person. That's how we'll know if it's like for piano. It depends on the person playing it. That's if it's sexy or not. But overall, dependent.
Okay.
We'll go with it. Violin. Your favorite instrument?
My main. I don't know if it's my favorite instrument. You know, like I always loved piano and violin together. When I finally chose violin, it was partially like job related. You know, because piano basically you have to be a concert piano soloist or you have to be a accompanist, right?
Yeah.
Well, other than teaching.
No.
Yeah, but violin, there's a few more things you can do, like chamber music, Pop music sometimes uses it. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I do love the violin, obviously, to make it my major and teach it all the time. I think violin is definitely sexy. Yeah. So few different ways to describe it. Violin is a very singing instrument. Yeah, the tone is very much like human voice. It can crescendo, you can vibrato, you can hold a note very long. These are all qualities that piano doesn't have.
Don't have, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes I mention this to violin students, right? Mentioning, like, reminding them to make it sound more like a voice. Otherwise, this instrument is not as beautiful anymore, right? But when you first start to learn the violin, you will definitely not find it sexy because it's not easy.
Yeah, I've heard the learning curve is a little steep.
Yeah, and like at first it just sounds like chickens dying. That's the saying in Chinese. But yeah, so I think because it has such versatility and range in different tone and sound, that's what makes it sexy for me. And the instrument itself also looks really beautiful and sexy, I guess. Yeah. When I'm choosing a violin, I sometimes we do have to look at how it looks too. So yeah, that's my take on violin. I think it's pretty sexy, definitely higher than the piano.
Yeah. So I would agree with you. In terms of the actual person playing it, I don't know, like, I've never actually seen a person play a violin and be like, oh, that's sexy. No offense. However, the sound of a violin, depending on the violin, can be really sexy. Now, I'm just going to compare your violin to most other people's because you're here and it's just easier because I've listened to your instrument. But your violin...
I changed it.
Did you?
Well, like right when I met you, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, the violin that I know that you play, it's very present and it's a little lower sounding, I think. I don't know if it is, but it sounds like it's a little lower sounding and it's a bit more like present, which is what I like. Because the problem with me for violins, I mean, don't hate me for this or anybody else.
Shrill.
Yeah, like it's like really high sounding, right? And it's like it's almost like a little girl, and I don't like. So because your violin is a bit different in the sense where when you play, it's like duh, like it's more like here in the moment. You and someone else's, which I'm just gonna not mention anybody's name because I don't want to butthurt anybody else once again, but. Yeah, like these two violins I really like. But all the other ones, I'm just like, like, and I'm only counting the violin as itself as a solo, right? Because if we go on to the cello, which we'll talk about next because it's on the list, cellos are very deep sounding, right? And in itself, I think as a solo, cellos are so much easier to sound better because I think the violin, because it's so high and shrill, it needs a lot of support. And so I think it's hard for a like it's a
very sensitive instrument.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Which also brings it to the point that it's sexy because you have to know how to cradle it. It has to be the perfect touch, right?
Yeah.
To make it sound nice. So in that sense, I agree with you in terms of like making it sound nice.
It is similar to piano where it's the person that plays it or like the person that's playing the instrument. However, in this case, just slightly bit the violin in itself, like how it's made, the strings, I guess, like all the little components that make the sound. In this case, I would say that a violin is sexy because of its sound, not because of the person playing it. Well, I mean, to a degree, the person playing it, obviously.
Yeah,
but
for
the
sure.
sound that it produces varies so much between one violin to another.
Well, I'm glad you can tell between,
I'm not that bad at music.
Well, a lot of people can't tell. If when I'm choosing my violins, some violins that I think sound really quite different and not what I like, I would show my mom, right? And like she would be like, it sounds the same, right? So she wouldn't really be able to help me make a decision, but I mean, so that's why we always have to kind of like ask music friends to help, but it's cool that you can hear some of it.
Cool. Cello.
Basically already mentioned a little bit about
yes, but whenever I see this word, I'm sorry for everybody that hates me, but I always think of it as Chell, right? I always like cello. Oh, cello. Like like it always takes me that one split second to be like, oh, it's cello with a silent H.
Well, I mean I think I'm not gonna say it's common, but it's definitely some people's
Yep.
experience it too.
I am one of those people.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your opinion on cello?
No, cello is definitely. I mean, it's very close to the violin, except for that it's lower, right? I definitely think it's also sexy, but I think it's a little bit more mellow in the sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and darker tones are beautiful on the cello for obvious reasons. Yeah, but I mean, I'm just trying to think why I didn't choose the cello, and instead I went with the violin. I guess that wasn't really a question, because the reason I chose violin was because I saw in grade 1, I already playing piano quite a bit back then. And then in grade 1, when I was 7, I guess, I saw one of the classmates did a show and tell and played the violin. I was like, that's such a cool sounding instrument or whatever. So instantly I mentioned to my mom, and then she let me pick it up. Yeah, so it wasn't really, a choice between cello or violin or viola. I actually do like the viola. Okay, so a lot of music people like to joke about it, like it's an instrument that's like non-existent, but
it's definitely not that popular. At least compared to violin and cello. It's taken a back seat, I think.
The main problem is with the rep, like the pieces choices they have, right? Because just not as many composers wrote for the viola, so that's one of the problems for it. But it is a beautiful sounding instrument too. But anyway, cello, I would say is a little bit more dark and emotional, right, rather than sexy. But I don't know. It could be sexy too. I've seen well, if we're gonna talk about like player, I mean that's mostly your job. But I've seen cellists that make me feel like, wow, they can really get in there.
Yeah, wow, good for you.
I mean, into the strings. Okay, your turn.
I can agree, kind of, but I think it's a little hard because with cellos, because I like the instrument itself in general, I think not every, obviously I can say that, but like most people who play the cello, like, oh, the sound of the instrument is, very beautiful, right? Like it's more attractive to me because of the lower sound. It's not as shrilly. Now, having said that, it is harder for me to distinguish good cello, like sexy cello players in a sense, because they're all like, it all sounds like good to me, right?
I see.
Whereas violin, it's
you
most of them are
hear more big of a difference.
Yeah, like most of them are shrill, but when you shine through, I really see the shine through on a violin. Whereas a cello, like, I can hear 10 of them play. Sure, 9 of them are good, and one of them who is really good. The difference is not as big compared to as in violin. So I think talent-wise, I don't know. That's just me. Maybe it's just because of my common ear. I don't have musician ear, so maybe. But I think talent-wise, if people have the talent, it's easier to shine through on the violin. Granted, also once again, that your violin sounds good, right? Because if you have like a
I think one thing we haven't really talked about is like the music that they're playing, right? Like the type of music
and if it fits the actual violin.
And like I think some people display more sexiness through certain pieces. So there are, I don't know, it's just hard to explain. Like some players, I enjoy them playing these pieces much more than some other kind of piece, like different time period or whatever, right? And there's also like crossovers.
That might be too intense.
I mean there's also crossovers out there, right? Like two cellos. Do you know about that?
No.
Oh, it's two guys playing cello, but like Lindsay Sterling. Do you know this? Anyway, so these are crossover
Literally
people.
90% of our audience, 99% of our audience will not know who that person is.
Oh, okay, no, Lindsay Sterling definitely a lot of people know. She's like big on YouTube.
If you guys are non-musicians and you know who Lindsay Sterling is, please message me.
Yes.
With my blanket Instagram. But if like if your musician friends message me and say I know who she is, yeah, obviously you're a musician.
No. Okay,
I need non-musician people to message me.
Listen,
before I
music
believe you.
people despise Lindsay Sterling, like most people, because she's a crossover and she like dance when she plays, which is like very frowned upon in classical music training, right? Yeah, no, but I personally think she's pretty smart, and you know she makes violin heard out there because of how popular she has become.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean she won what is it like America's Got Talent or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why she's big.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just live under the rock.
Don't watch shitty shows. Don't know who she is.
Yeah. Okay.
So like I'm saying, yeah, that's cello. It's okay, but can we let's go back to your point for a second, if that's okay, about whoever this girl is, Lindsay, whatever, how she like did things that are frowned upon. Did we have this conversation already? I think we have, right? Where it's like,
oh yeah, okay.
yeah, like we've had
I
this
thought you mean
conversation,
like
right?
I thought you mean in this podcast.
We might have already. I don't know,
I don't think
but like
so.
it's that idea of like, you know, like sure you're classically trained and all that, but it doesn't mean that you have to stick to it, right? And and B, I just feel like a lot of even classically trained musicians, when I have these conversations, I think we had this conversation, but anyways, yeah, like they're so afraid to go out of the classical, like what they're trained in, because they don't want to be creative. But I mean, you're a fucking musician.
Okay.
Isn't that your job?
But yeah, I talked
to be creative.
Well, I told you my argument on this already too, right? But so first of all, I am all for creativity and I enjoy crossover music, right? First of all.
Sure.
So people that don't and they don't go for it is not because they're afraid to get out of their comfort zone. It's because they don't feel that kind of music. They don't respect that kind of music, you know? They feel like they're gonna lose respect for themselves if they go for that kind of music just for money. That's the difference, I think. Yeah, because you have to remember, these people, right, including me included, they're trained from, I mean, okay, so some of them might be trained later, right, when they went to university. Yeah, but some of them are, you know, hearing about like Bach and all that, you know, from their family, and they've known all these rules and you know, standards that they should follow, you know, when they're playing music.
Sure.
So they come to respect that standard, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, so when you want them to get out there and like dance and shake while play violin, and you know, the violin is like made of glass or like pink color, you know, like they're not gonna do that. And it's not because they don't want to be creative. It's because that's not the creativity that they're
going for.
Yeah, that they strive for.
I understand that. I know we're going a little bit off topic, sorry, but I understand that. But then they don't have the right to criticize other people, though. Right? So like, let's say I'm a person that's like that.
Oh yeah, that agree.
Right? But like, I don't like my way. Like, I like the ways of Bach and standing still and playing whatever. But I don't have the right to criticize other people if they choose to paint them, right? So having said that, for those who want to, I mean, I've had most of your friends are musicians. I literally talked to most of them, right? And then so some of them say, yeah, I've always wanted to, but you know, other people think of me different, blah blah. Like, so I'm not talking about people who respect the rules or whatever that you're like. I'm talking about people that want to, but don't, for the fear that people might think of them differently, or like they're so paralyzed by how people think that they can't, even though it's something they may want to even try. They might not like it, who knows, right? But they don't even want to try, which I think is such like a barrier in the musician world, right? Because that's literally like 8 out of 10 musicians that I talk to that might want to try, they don't. Yeah. Which I think is a shame, that's all. Like, well, I think it's a shame.
Yes, there's definitely a little factor in there, right? Like, because you're trained, but you're doing things that require a lot less technique, per se, right? So I mean, that's, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that shouldn't be a factor, but I mean, for some people it is.
I get what you're saying though. Like
Right.
for the people that actually have like this,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
old
But
and saying, like I agree with that.
I think
if
it's
you have
just,
that, that's fine.
yeah, I think it's just important to have an open mind, right?
Yeah.
For yourself and for others too, right? If someone is making money off of this and she's not doing anything wrong, then you can't
Yeah.
criticize her. I mean, she's not doing anything that's like illegal. Yeah.
All right. Sorry for that tangent. Sorry, not sorry. I just want to have it anyways.
I don't know. I thought it was a fun one.
Next one on the list is flute.
Flute.
Very similar to a violin bow because it's long, and if you lube it
not
correctly, it
You
can
made this joke about flute earlier.
go in different ways. I know.
Anyways.
It's the only instrument that can do that.
Mm,
Literally, a clarinet is too big.
I guess.
Well, actually, not for some people.
Okay.
But
yeah,
like,
and clarinet, the color is also okay. Anyway, flute. I can't think of flute as a sexy instrument.
yeah,
The sound is not right. I don't think I would describe flute as whimsical.
yeah,
Um,
it's not sexy.
yeah, and elegant again.
The only thing that
Beautiful.
flute reminds me of is all those girls that picked it because they wanted to carry something light, and little did they know that in advanced flute music, you have to do like a billion trills and shit, and it gets
Yes.
really hard.
Flute is difficult. Yeah. So
Like,
this
yeah,
for
like-
a fact I know. Yeah, flute is not an easy instrument. Yeah, like
It's not when it gets it's
yeah,
not.
honestly,
But it was just cute that they
I
had
might
all
not
the-
even be able to play it because I don't know. I've tried to make sound on some like other flute instruments,
Yeah.
like Chinese flutes, and I couldn't. So anyway, yeah, I don't think it's a sexy
We'll just skip it. It's not very
instrument,
sexy.
though.
We both
Yeah.
agree it's not very sexy. It's okay.
Sorry, Hira.
Oh, yeah, one of your friends plays. Saxophone is next, and I guess we're gonna clump all the saxophones together. I guess like alto, tenor, bari, etc. Like they're all like
Yeah.
just all together.
Yeah. You go first.
Sure. I think it also depends on the person again, because I feel like sound on a sax isn't like it's almost similar to a piano where they all sound the same kind of. I mean, like it doesn't vary as much as a violin does in terms of their sound. I think like of all the different. I mean, obviously, if you compare tenor to alto to bari, those instruments.
you mean the
all-
same instrument.
Yeah, I mean obviously the same instrument. So
I wouldn't be able to tell. I think.
I think well you don't play the sax. I played it for like 8 years. Like
But I mean, like I've heard.
yeah, yeah. I think it depends on the person playing, similar to the piano. However, I don't know. I've never actually met someone that's like so good on the sax that I found them attractive. Like I mean, I've heard so many saxophonists. Anyways,
I mean, there's Kenny G.
who's that?
Oh my gosh. He's a huge saxophone player. Am I wrong? Okay, I know he plays something. No, he's saxophone player for sure.
Kenny G.
Like saxophone god. Well, when I was in Taiwan, this is all. I mean, like he's more jazz and like crossover, I think. Yeah, but he's like a pretty huge.
So I'll also say
sax
this too,
player.
I guess. Yeah, since you brought up jazz, I never really thought about it. But like, yeah, so I think saxophone in general is more a jazzy instrument. Like even when I was in band in high school, and in elementary school, upper elementary, I was playing the alto in band, but I never saw that instrument fit in. Like you had your flutes, clarinets, trumpets, trombones, French. Like they all. Like I don't know. For me, they all have like a reason to be there, but I felt like I don't know. The saxophones in general just never really fit. It. Like it's just there. But if we had a jazz band, I'm not if like we had a jazz band, and like you could see that instrument shine so much more, because of I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean in orchestras, there's usually a sax too, right? Usually auto sax at least.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't. I don't know. For me. It kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't know why. I prefer it to be in the jazz sense.
They
That's
have
all.
some solos from time to time, but yeah, definitely not as big as in jazz band. But saxophone, in terms of sound, definitely is sexy. I think I would categorize it as sexy sound because it has like these like you can can you do slides on saxophone?
No, that's trumpet. No,
Trombone.
Trombone.
Okay, yeah. So no slides, but like I don't know. It's just a very fluid sounding. Even for a woodwind instrument, I feel like it's very, very fluid, and I don't know. I guess I'm just imagining
more fluid though, right?
Of course, I'm talking about like in terms of woodwind. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, what was I gonna say? I forgot. I don't know. Just in general, I feel like it's a very in terms of woodwinds, it's a pretty fluid and sexy sounding, and the name is sax. So
David thinks it's sexy. I don't think it's sexy. Not as it's okay.
It might be in my top 3.
Despite me playing saxophone, I think it's just okay. I don't think it might be. We'll see. Next is trumpet, and
sorry.
Why? You tell. You since you have such funny.
I feel bad for laughing, but like, come on, trumpet is not sexy. Okay. Trumpet players, okay, you can talk about that, but for me, trumpet is not a sexy sounding instrument. It's so it's so loud.
Yeah, I can kind of see. I'm just trying to
it's very exciting, I guess, and it's very bright.
But it's not sexy.
Honestly, it's not always my favorite instrument. I mean, when I was in university, I have to play for a lot of trumpeter. Some of the pieces are fun to play with. Some of the pieces were fun to play, but like I accompany them on the piano. It's fun, but sometimes it's just like especially if it's not a very good trumpet player, it's like pretty painful sometimes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's sexy. It's just fun and loud. But no, even though I'm trying to imagine like sexy.
It's very technical.
Because you have to. Your embouchure is very.
Yeah. So in that sense, maybe. Yeah, if you can have a really good sound all the time, maybe.
But I'd say I've I've never seen a very good trumpet player and go like, ooh, that person is.
I'm trying to think. At school, maybe I've seen 1 or 2 that I was like, Not high school. I'm talking like at Western music program. But in general, I wouldn't say.
Next is French horn. Now, I don't know why we have French horn on the list, to be honest, because in terms of brass instruments, I think there are other popular ones.
I think tuba?
Tuba... No, okay, that can never...
I mean, we can mention the other ones too,
tuba,
right?
trombone,
we don't have to go with this.
What are the other ones? I think, tuba...
Isn't that it?
Trombone, French horn, trumpet, sure. I'll just...
Something like that, right?
Those are the 4 common ones.
Yeah.
But... tuba is definitely not, so let's not even go there. It's a good supporting instrument, like with the bass, but it's like, come on, okay, don't kid yourselves here.
French horn could be okay. I mean, it could be.
I feel like a French horn sings better than a trumpet because it's not as loud.
Sure.
And it can produce.
It has a little bit more atmospheric, like warmth in the sound, I think.
Sure. But I guess in terms of like sexiness in general, of like a person playing it, I always for these instruments, I'm always gonna revert back to jazz because I don't know, like playing in an orchestra, or like in a band, like a high school band, like that's how I'm envisioning it, right? Like if you're a French horn person,
funny, you're imagining that, and I'm imagining like Western, like university.
Yeah, but like it doesn't. It's not sexy because if you're in a band because you're in a band with 60 people, right? How do you stand out? So if you yourself are just on the stage playing a French horn, it's not as sexy. The sexiest instrument to me personally in terms of brass is trombone, like you said, because it can slide. It has the most, in my opinion, jazz potential. So because it has a lot of jazz / solo potential, a person can really stand out if they are a good trombonist.
So you think trombone out of the
we don't have trombone on the list here, but I would say that trombone is the most sexiest brass instrument for me.
Yeah, French horn I would say is grandiose, and very. Yeah, kind of stately almost, kind of brass instrument. More sexier than trumpet, but not sexy.
Yeah.
Guitar.
I will go there.
Guitar is next. This is another very common one. used in many different
Used by many high school boys that are trying to seem emotional to pick up girls.
Yeah. I would definitely say this would be a sexy instrument. It was never my choice of instrument. I
mean, it got all the boys laid who played, so I mean.
And it got, pop stars very famous.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift started on a guitar with her country music. I mean, it has a very, it does have, because I think it's very versatile, right? Like you can play it in pop music, you can play it in folk, country, rock, right? Different kind of guitar.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's pretty versatile, and in that sense, it's pretty sexy. And it's also quite technically demanding, on the fingers.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That could be.
Are you trying to make a sex joke?
I wasn't, but it sounds like I am. So, sure. Yeah, I mean, like it could be like a very technical thing, and sometimes that could be like people can be drawn to that, right? When you see them move their fingers so fast.
Yeah.
And strumming very fast. I don't know.
So with guitar, I feel like it depends on the guitar, because like if it's just the high school one where you're la-di-da, you need your voice as well, right? And so it's not just the guitar itself, it's your voice that makes it sexy. So I wouldn't categorize it as just the guitar is sexy, so I'm going to disqualify that bit. However, if you have a bass guitar that can really do his thing, right, that is sexy. Like, you know what I mean?
So you mean bass?
Yeah, because like if you're just on like a random, like the going back to the high school bit with all the guys, like if you just play that guitar in itself, it's
like acoustic guitar.
It's almost like a violin where it needs that support, which is your voice, right? In terms of a guitar, it's your voice that gives it the support to make it sexy,
right?
Or maybe it's the guitar supporting your voice. I don't know. I'm lost in thought here, but you know what I mean. Like it's similar to a violin where it needs support, whereas a bass guitar. Or a bass, I don't know why I say guitar, but a bass in general, that can stand on its own without voice. So in terms of that can be.
There are two kinds though. Are you talking about in a band? There are two types of guitar. There's the bass, and there's the electric guitar. Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about the bass. I think electric guitar is loud.
The bass is just the one that. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So, okay.
No, but that can also be sexy because the bass like guitars also have solo. Like they have their own. They can have solos.
I especially love when girls are bass guitarists. I think that's like.
Yeah.
Sexy.
You can also say that about
I think that's
drums
really cool.
Too. Maybe. Just because like more typically these are male played instruments, right? So obviously, I mean, would you say the same where if you see a guy playing a flute, is that sexy? Just because most of them are like, you know what I mean?
There are a lot of male flautists there now.
I think you only think there's a lot because. Like it sticks out when you see them. There's just so many girls.
Sure. I think there's still more girls for sure.
Like 100. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know. The orchestra I'm in has 2 flautists. That's
male.
And male, and my orchestra has 1. So. Anyway.
But anyways, going back to guitar, I would say of the since we're bunching them together anyways, like we're doing with the sax, I'd say the bass is the sexiest for me.
I see. Yeah, I mean, acoustic guitar could be really sexy too when it's playing something like more, what's that word? Exotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because guitar, like I said, it's very versatile, and you can play, like Spanish music.
Sure.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that.
Things
part,
like that.
So
things like that are pretty sexy. But I agree with you. Yeah, like in a band setting, if you. Some people really like the bass, and some people think like the shredding, the guitar. You say it's shrill, but that's pretty cool too, right? Some people fall for those things like crazy. Yeah, like the main guitarist.
Sure. Last but not least is percussion, but most likely just drums. Let's just do drums because it's just the easiest.
Okay, but I love xylophone. That's one instrument that I regret not learning. Yeah.
I can't even do it with my mouth anymore.
What's that?
The whole
You mean the xylophone?
Yeah. Okay, I'm apparently not good with my mouth.
I thought you were. I thought you were doing like a woodwind or something.
No, but okay, drums. Anyways, let's go back. Let's get back on topic here, guys.
Yeah.
Drums. I'd say, like, I understand drums, and I can understand how people, like, think it's sexy. Like, oh my god, you're the drummer. Like, in a band. Like, I understand that. It's just always been so loud. Like, I'm just like, well, going back, I mean, this episode is going to air after the trauma one, so you guys know my trauma about loud voices, right? So that's always why I never, like, I'm not a fan of generally drum, like, even violins, generally I'm not a, because they're really shrilly, right? They do, like, it is loud for me in a sense. So that's why I've never really, I can understand though. Like, I fully understand how they get me sexy. It's just not for me, that's all.
I see. I think drummers, like drummers in the band often can be sought after as a sex icon or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
For example, 21 Pilots. But yeah, I'm a fan. But like in terms of, I guess I'm always gonna go back to my classical roots a bit, right? Yeah, in terms of percussion instruments in general, I loved percussion in like going to percussion concerts. Like it's the most exhilarating experience, you know. Yeah, even
Blue Man Group was so fun.
Yeah, like, even something like that.
Yeah, I had such a good time at Blue Man Group.
Yeah,
it was so
but like
interesting.
It's always something that it's actually one instrument that made me question when I was younger. When I went to, there was a very popular percussion group in Taiwan, like classical percussion group. Yeah, when I went to their concert, I was like, should I switch? Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? And I like asked for lessons, but it was just impossible.
Yeah.
For me, and I don't know. I might still pick it up one day. You know. Yeah. Get on the xylophone or get some drums. You know. Yeah. It is really loud, and I wouldn't say the sound is exactly sexy, but like the exhilarating feeling, the rush, you know, and when every percussion is put together, for like a concert, it's like a festival. Yeah, that's to me can be kind of sexy. Yeah, and I think you didn't mention it, but like percussion players. Yeah. They can put off some nice sexy vibes, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Just not for me, that's all. Like, I understand. Yeah, they can be sexy, I guess, to some people. But yeah, I think that's all of our lists. I mean, we did mention a good, I mean, even the ones that aren't on the list, we mentioned a good bunch. Yeah.
If we miss your instrument and you think you're
it's just
sexy
not
as
popular,
hell,
just
sorry.
So let's just do top three. 3, 2, 1. You can name your number one last. So
we have to
there's a
name
bit of
top
suspense.
3.
Yeah, like do 3, 2, 1. Do you want me to go first then?
Yeah.
Actually, no. We'll just do 3, 3. We'll both share our number 3 first, and then 2, and then 1.
Okay. Well, I'm not ready.
What? The list is right there. How can you not be ready?
I'm thinking.
Oh.
Okay. Well, so how do you want to start it?
My number 3 is violin.
Okay.
What's yours? What's your number 3?
My number 3 is saxophone.
Wow, we chose each other's instruments for number 3. Guess we don't find each other that sexy.
Yeah, there it goes.
Number 2 for me is cello.
Okay. Ouch. He chose cello before me. I mean, I always knew that. I always knew he was drawn to the cello more.
What's your number 2?
That's the one I haven't put on. It's between guitar and percussion, and I think I'm gonna go with percussion just because.
I'd say you like it more from all your stories that you're saying.
I'm drawn to percussion's like excitement, I think, and one.
Piano.
You choose piano?
Yeah.
Huh.
Piano is
interesting.
Yeah, easily the sexiest instrument for me.
Okay, maybe I should play piano more for him.
Yeah.
Violin is mine.
Did you not say that? Oh no, you chose saxophone first.
Oh, that was your third.
Yeah. For some reason, I
don't know. I think just because of first of all, I major in it, but that's not
bias.
That's not the only reason.
That's like if your birthday's in May, you're saying May's the best birthday, like the last couple.
Did I say that though?
You didn't, but yeah, bias.
I just think violin has the most singing voice. Yeah, and it's so versatile. It can create so many different emotions. So yes. So yeah.
To be fair though, if you're gonna play more piano for me, not to say that you don't have a wonderful singing voice, because you know that I think you do, but once again, it comes from like playing a
combination.
No, it's not a combination. It's
Oh.
like from actually playing like a piece well, like it's the talent,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're gonna play the piano while singing, it's similar to guitar and singing, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna disqualify that because you're using your voice.
Oh
as
no,
a
so that's
spirit.
not what I mean.
Yeah,
I
but
mean
I'm saying
actually
if you,
play piano.
If you want to play a piece for me and seem sexy in front of me because you're my boyfriend, I would suggest that you just play a piece well as opposed. I mean, you can play a piece.
Of course, that's
if
what
you
I mean.
want.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, I mean you met me at the wrong time because I used to play a lot more piano.
You watch your YouTube videos like.
Yes. Like that used to be my main. Yeah, I told you. Like at university, that's
Yeah.
when I actually switched to violin main. Before that, it was always kind of equal. Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit more piano than violin. But, anyways.
This was a long one. I mean, all our episodes are now 40-ish minutes.
Was it?
It's always been.
I
this
didn't
long.
even feel like it was this long.
It's 'cause we talk about
Hopefully,
music.
hopefully it was fun for you guys. But yeah, let us know what you think is the most, the sexiest instrument,
For you
and why.
and why. That's important. Yeah. You guys can hit us up on Instagram. Where's my blanket? Click the middle button to subscribe. Helps us out a lot. You guys can like and comment on our YouTube channel as well. And if you, lastly, always not last but not least, if there's a video or if this video is something that you guys liked and think that someone might benefit from a laugh or it's entertaining, please share. Yeah, we'd appreciate it a lot. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, guys. And yes, let us know which instrument you think is the sexiest.
Yes.
And why.
We
See you
are
guys
curious.
on the next one.
See you. Bye.
Bye.